Yeah, I'm setting it up. Exactly.
Yep, yep. You got to put a title on it.
Yeah, and I think that you're the one hosting it right now, just so you
No
know.
way. Am I?
I
I
don't
don't want
know.
to do that.
I really don't know. You're on the right side or left side, I'm on the right.
All right, I'll leave and come back.
No, no, it's fine. I don't care.
I don't
I
want
just
to host it.
I'm just letting you know just in case we have a problem. Okay, so it looks like it's rolling. You think I should keep the the YouTube studio up just so I can see what's going on, or
Uh,
is
I
that a
don't know if
problem?
you need to do that. Um,
But if you go to my YouTube channel right now, you should see this
I
like
see it.
the event, right?
I'm clicking on it right now. Yeah, I'm in now.
Okay. My
So I
only
guess we're
concern right
going on.
now is
That's
really the
weird.
volume.
It says we're so I guess we're going.
Oh, yeah, we are live. I don't even.
We're such a disaster. Who
This is
even knows what's
horrible.
going
This
on?
is horrible. I didn't really mean to go live. My bad. So if you guys are watching, welcome to the stream. There's
I
one
think I'm
person
the
in
only
here.
one in it, so we might be safe.
That's fine. It doesn't really matter. We're not trying to do
Oh, I
anything too
love it.
professional here. Um, Let me just fix some things up.
Oh, phenomenal views in. So
No,
he gets to see us just dorking around trying to get going.
you didn't miss anything, bro. We just started. That's all. And I'm
Right.
just trying
You
we're
missed
trying to
our
use
technical issues that happen to be streamed live.
yeah, and we're trying to I'm gonna get rid of this stupid thing. I don't need this anymore. We're trying to use Google Hangouts. So we're, trying to get set up there. So it might be a little bit choppy going in. Um, Let me just do a couple more. One thing that we need help with though for sure is how is the volume of our voices? Sean, maybe you can talk and they can
Yeah,
hear you too.
in one I'm watching the chat and it looks like I don't know if it's a Google Hangout thing, but the delay between what we broadcast and when it shows up, it's a little bit more than StreamYard, so we might have to wait to see the replies.
Yeah, but I think the replies, the way it's set up is like, I think it's fine. I think we'll be
All
okay
right.
with that.
All
I
right.
think it's more like keeping up with the comments. I think we'll be okay, but it's more like just the sound.
Yeah, he says I'm lower, you're louder,
Yeah,
which is kind of what you thought.
that's what I thought. So let's try to fix that real quick. We want to make sure everybody can hear us. Let me. What I could probably do now. Am I too loud, or am I okay as far as my volume? Because really what we want to do is make sure that we're not too loud and then also make sure that
Yeah.
we're in sync. I can
Yeah,
try
it's
to
tough because
bump
I
up
can only hear you, right? I can't hear me.
I can bump up his volume. Let me see if I can just do like
Yeah, the
fif-
tough part is we tried doing it on my end and I clip like crazy if I increase the gain over here.
let me see if I can just do that and now talk again.
I told Havo that
All right.
StreamYard is sabotaging him because we switched software.
Okay, I think Sean he should sound better
Yeah.
now. Talk, Sean.
How do I sound now?
I think you're sounding better now.
So they still say I'm a little bit lower, but that might have been before you adjusted it because the
All right.
delay is there quite a bit.
Um
My gear's also not nearly as good. Now we get a yep, that's good.
okay, so that might have worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Plus
cool.
my
So
gear's not as good as Havo's. Like
yeah.
I'm a stream noob compared to Havo.
Testing 1 2 baby. All right, cool. So I think that we're good. I
Yeah.
think everything's in sync
All
cuz
right.
what
Cool.
happens is that when I watch the stream, I like to watch these as well. I'm a fan of what we
Yeah.
say. It sounds stupid,
Me too.
but we're losers. We enjoy what we're doing and we want to hear it back sometimes because it's interesting. Like not a lot of people are talking about this stuff and for sure not a lot of people are saying what we say. They're not being honest or they're not educated enough or we're just stupid and saying things that we shouldn't say. Whatever it is, we like to hear
Yeah,
it.
I think it's mostly that.
Yeah, yeah, mostly the third one.
Yeah, it's mostly us talking and saying dumb things that other devs would be like, "No, that's gonna hurt your sales." Right? We
Yeah,
don't
it's
care.
like Don't
whatever.
show the real alpha beta build, show
Yeah.
Adobe, what do you call that? The one that they do for like cinematics.
Oh
Sh-
yeah.
Show one
Yeah.
of yeah,
Yeah.
show one of
Show
the
the
CGI
fancy.
videos.
Yeah. Put your little disclaimer at the bottom. Not in-game footage. Right? Like
Mm.
99% of the football game dev videos we see out there should have that little disclaimer, not in-game footage.
Yeah, not in game footage ever. It's never gonna happen. Okay, so let me just do one more quick thing, and then we'll be
See,
ready
this
to
is what the
roll.
fans are here for. It's this behind the scenes technical, how do I IT work to get the stream going. Like that's what they're really here for. Sound adjustments.
Yeah, yeah, they're here to hear us babble about how much we hate what we're doing.
That's funny.
Okay, so we have. Let me just mute that. Okay, it's muted. Okay, good. So I can see it now. I can see where we are.
Cool.
All right, so let's
Very
get
cool.
started. So now this is when we should have gone live. So we'll probably put a timestamp in the
This is
video for
totally
anybody
on
who
brand for us too.
right, for anybody who is who's going to watch it later on, they can just jump to the good part if we ever get to a good part.
If we get some good part. Yeah.
Yeah. So I may need to jump off depending on how my son's doing. He's not feeling too well this morning. We'll see what happens, but hopefully he gets better. But I wanted to do this stream. We wanted to do a stream. We like having fun doing this. We were talking about it today and we're like, what should we call this stream? Right? Like, what should it be
Yeah.
titled? And then we're like, oh, we're just having fun, so let's just not worry about that right now. And then we also wanted to find out what you guys in the comments, what you guys thought we can call these because we're starting to do them regularly. I mean, it's becoming a
Yeah.
show.
Eventually we need a name for this. Right. I don't know. Just Havo and Sean talking about game dev and complaining might not be a great title for this bit. we we
Yeah.
might might need something better, a little more catchy than that.
Yeah, you see, and that's the hard part with everything that we're doing. It's like, we there's a way to tweet this. I mean, tweet this. I'm tweeting right now while I'm talking. There's a way to promote stuff that you're doing. There's the business side of it, and then there's the side that we are. There's the fan, like we're fans of it. We're enthusiasts of the genre of football and football and game
Yeah, we're
dev and
basically
sports
just
game dev.
fans of our own games too, which makes it hard to be the business guy, right?
Yeah, and it's like you always have to like not you always, but you should think of the business side, and we don't really think of it a lot because we're just passionate about what we're doing, and so that's part of my struggle all the time, and I don't even call it a struggle. It's a matter of if you care or not enough, and I don't care enough about it because I just want to do what I want to do, and sometimes that may or may not hurt us, and it's
Yeah.
like so like this is
I'm
a
always
perfect
jealous of those other devs, and you and I watch everybody else's videos and watch and follow everybody else on Twitter and all that stuff. And a lot of time I get really jealous out of their ability to do marketing. It's like I just don't have the energy for that. I don't have the know-how or the energy to put these really nice polished videos together. Not even just football devs. Like we follow that Orange Pixel guy. My God, if I had the kind of time and talent and energy to put those really nice videos together, I'm just so jealous of those guys. Because you and I do stuff like this, right? We hit the go live button and we'll figure out how to make it work as we were going live.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, and I have a problem because I have OCD. I know I have OCD for sure, and
Much
like
more than me, that's for sure.
yeah, and I tweak. I'm always tinkering around, and as you're talking, I'm looking at things, and so I need to just let it go. And you guys can tell us in the chat, if everything sounds good, if everything looks okay, and we'll just keep rolling. So let's get started. So this video or this stream is going to be a little bit casual as we always do. We like to just do these videos to just chat about football dev, about the industry, about what's going on. If you guys have any comments, we definitely want to engage you guys. We keep getting support, man. Don, you're the man, dude. I'm gonna have
Oh
to
my
like send
God.
you like an auto debit thing or something because you've been like sending stuff every time, and that's just awesome,
That
man.
is awesome.
And we appreciate that for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to see people donating like that just because I watch other streams and I never even like heard like see anybody donate. I mean, no, hold on. I watch other streams that they do donate a lot, and then when I've done streams and people in the game dev industry do streams, they typically don't get any kind of donations like that. So it's pretty cool to see.
I think it's awesome. Yeah.
That's
I li
nice to see.
it reminds me that people actually like what we're doing, and sometimes you forget that.
And that's the cool thing about, and that's the real thing that's like the business side of it too. It's like, you need to find a way to make money. And this stuff here is we always appreciate it, but we want to find people that like we can only do what we're doing if we get some kind of income. And that sometimes is crappy because a lot of times because we really have to like not always do what's best for the customer. And I'm in the kind of situation right now where and I'm stubborn where I am literally like with my game the way I'm working on it right now, like every day I think about what am I doing with my game as far as like the business side because right now I'm working on franchise mode and I know that I'm gonna have to charge something for it probably, and or else I'm gonna be spending even more time. Where like a lot of games, what they do is they release the game, they cut the cord, and they say, okay, I'm gonna go on with a new game, whether it be a sequel or whatever. And with me, it's like I'm so bad at that because I just want to improve the game. And now that I'm working on franchise mode, I just all of a sudden like I'm realizing every day that oh my god, I've opened up this huge other like window of stuff that I'm going to get more ideas about from people, more
Yeah.
feedback. I have things I want to add to it, and it's just now it's like I've just grown a whole new like game out of this, and it's like okay, wait, what am I doing here? Because it's going to be endless, and like
Yeah, and the tough part is you don't wanna pour all that effort into something that's not gonna help support the company, basically.
exactly
That's the tough part. Yeah.
right, and you also don't want to. You also have to make like we're porting the game right now, so they're porting it to console, and I know that what I'm doing right now is going to cause a delay. It is because now they got to go back and merge everything I did into their build, and there's just a lot of things that happen behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and the point that I guess I'm trying to make is that the business side of everything is so important, but it's so easy to just it's so much easier to just do what you feel is naturally like good for the game and good for the your customers,
Yeah.
and then like hopefully the rest will kind of fall into place. But you can't think that way all the time because then you're going to just be broke, you know?
Yeah, I know we had this discussion before. I know you really want to just add it as part of the game as a patch and additional content and not charge for it. And I took on the weird, unusual role of talking business and being like, okay, I love that idea too, but how is that going to drive more revenue, right? If you put it as part of the game, in theory, it feels great to say, well, I'm going to get more customers by adding more content. And I had to be the wet blanket and say, well, where are those customers going to come from, right? Everybody who's really interested in your game has bought your game already. Like the customers that are left out there are the Madden bros. Like they're not going to buy it anyways. Doesn't matter what you put in it. So it's like you want to give this content, but you got to remember like this company's only viable as long as it's making money. And that's the crappy trade-off of doing game dev. Like we just want to make stuff. You don't want to think about how do I get paid? That's such a buzzkill.
I don't know what just happened, but I moved my screens around and now everything just went to shit on my side,
Uh-oh.
or at least on the stream. I'm not seeing any um any video.
Oh man, what the hell? We're both blank.
There we go.
Now
It's
we're
back
back.
now. So I must have did something. I apologize.
What are you just clicking around over there?
Yeah, I'm always clicking around. Always clicking around.
uh,
So so what are we talking about today? So there's a couple things that came out. One of the things is like I saw the Max football footage that was
oh
put
god,
out there. I
Max.
don't know if we want to show it or not, but basically it was I mean we could show it. I could try to pull it
Just
up.
show it. Like it's so right disclaimer, this is where we get ourselves in trouble again.
Maybe you can show it because I don't want to ruin like what I have set up here. I'm afraid to touch anything now because it's
Yeah, let
all like
me you just kind of give me a second and I'll find it.
okay. I'm taking
Uh
a look at the chat too. So if you guys have anything
yeah,
you want to talk about or want us to answer, let
I
us
think I
know.
got it out here somewhere.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, check out the hat. Brand new hat. I love it. I had to
Oh
order
man, those
these.
hats are so sweet.
Yeah, man. They weren't cheap and I'm trying to figure out what to do with them.
Uh
but yeah, I'm happy to be wearing them. This is part of the like
Oh
this for
God,
me is
here
like
it
a
is.
fan thing. This is more like I want to do this as a fan. I really want to get one of these hats, but you got to order like 24 of them to be able to buy them. So it's like, Jesus, I spent way too much money. And then, uh, and but it's like also a business side thing. So it's like maybe I can do some giveaways or do some kind of like cool creative things to get it out there. But anyways,
All right, I think it's up. Do you see it?
I see
All
it.
right, all right, I'm not gonna play the sound. Here
Yeah,
we
don't play
go.
the sound. There's no
Yeah,
sound. It
I'm not
sounds
playing the
stupid
sound.
anyways.
All right, so Maximum Football leaked footage.
It's like taking a
Air
leak in the bathroom
quotes
is what it is.
leaked. Yeah, this is leaked, I'm sure. This is just like this is spot on to everything we've been complaining about when it comes to hype videos, right? I
Right.
That's fine. Make a video like this. This is clearly yeah, this is game footage, right? There's no chance this is game footage.
No,
But
I don't even know what this is. And like you said,
it's a cinematic. Somebody's putting together a cinematic. I mean, because look at that. You can see the After Effects, right? The After Effects of you make an animation in engine and you add post processing and things like that so that it can look a certain way, right? And you could just tell between the focus and the bloom and they have a couple very specific camera effects on there. This is made for a cinematic, but it's like I'm fine with that. I'm 100% okay with putting videos and saying, "Hey, look how cool this is. Like we put this really cool thing on there." It's the fake hype that makes me crazy, right? Leaked footage. Like this is supposed to be gameplay. It's like, come on, guys. You look at the comments and people are losing their minds that this is going to be the greatest football game ever and like Madden better watch out. It's like just love it for what it is. There's another football game coming out. It has really cool cinematics. It looks like some really awesome graphics. It's okay to just leave it there. Like, let's not make this into something it isn't, right? This isn't gameplay footage. This, anybody who thinks Maximum Football is going to come out and be better than Madden 1 year after completely starting over from scratch in a new engine on a code base that was basically suspect anyways, like you're just making hype for no reason.
right.
That's what makes me nuts. It's not that they're trying to make this new game. It makes me nuts the hype,
What
right?
happened to the
It's
you
just
took the video down
empty
already, or
hype.
you still have it up there?
I stopped. I just kept looping it. I was getting tired of seeing it.
Okay, well, anyways, so for those of you who don't know, we'll kind of catch up to speed. The Maximum Football game was purchased by another company. What's the company's name again? Don't you
Oh,
know? Don't you know what it is?
Maximum Games, I think. I
Okay,
think
well,
it was Maximum Games.
I think that
I'm not 100% certain.
okay, I think those guys were the ones that were publishing or porting the game for them, right? They were doing
Yeah, they
some
were
work.
Modus Games. All right, Mac Anthony has some good info on for us. He says it's Modus Games, and he
Okay,
said he was part of a beta. So, like, I would love if excuse me, if if instead we would see actual like gameplay footage and like they would say, hey, look at, we've made this much progress from the last game to this game and this is where we're going, and that would be a really interesting discussion and I think really valuable. And we could all dissect like how hard is it to port a game from Unity over to Unreal, and like what is it when you take somebody else's code, why is it so hard? And like there's a lot of really interesting and valuable discussions to be had there. Why is this direction different than the old Maximum Football, and like pros and cons, and there's a lot of really good discussion to be had. But unfortunately that's never the discussion we get. The discussion we get is, Madden better look out, this is going to be the greatest game ever. It's like there's no value to that. And that's what makes us nuts, right? Every video we see, and why you see us complain about people's videos, we're not complaining about the developers or the companies. It's that we always miss the really valuable discussion point, and we always jump to consume the hype, as fast as possible, right? Like, give me all that hype. Oh, like we come on. have a
Yeah.
substantive discussion. That's interesting. It's okay. Ugh, it's
Here's the thing.
exhausting.
Here's so Modus. You said it was Modus Games.
Yeah,
They
that's what
picked
Mac Anthony had said.
yeah, they picked up the Maximum Football game from Dave Winter. He went off to do some other career, and he's basically sold the game to them. I don't know how much. I'm not sure how that went down. I don't think anybody has that information. But, um, anyways, they purchased the game, and the game was in Unity, right? So now this footage is showing Unreal, which you would think, why would they port? Are they going to a brand new engine? Did they trash the old? Um, if you're typing to me, are you typing to me or them? Because I'm not seeing the
I'm
Discord.
typing to them.
Okay, cool. Just let me know if you are to me because I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're saying I got a little loud there. I think when I get excited and I start devouring my microphone, I get a little too loud.
No, no, I'm actually. Don't worry, I got your back. I am actually sitting here looking at the volume and making sure I saw it spiked up to
Okay.
the red, and I brought it back down.
Yeah,
So
I get really excited and like my microphone goes inside my mouth almost.
it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I'm looking at it. Just keep the microphone away from your mouth.
Yeah, I
I,
know. I need one of those. I actually need one of those things that goes around the mic or one of those little screens just to remind me don't stick the microphone in your mouth when you start screaming.
yeah, those are good for like the plosives too. Like if you're saying PPP too much. Anyways,
Yeah.
we're losers. We're doing, but you got see when you're doing stuff like this, you got to worry about the quality because we want it to sound good for you
Oh,
guys.
I
We
don't
don't
worry
want
about the quality at all.
it. I do.
I know who we are. I'm okay with it.
I know. I know. But it's like when we hear it back, we want it to sound well also, but or
Yeah,
look and
because
sound
I
good.
listen to it as well. So yeah, I know.
Okay, so let me get back. So the thing is, these guys purchased the game, and they showed this screenshot came out of nowhere. I don't know what the or this video, this
Oh, it's
leakage.
leaked.
Yeah,
That's leaked.
yeah, the footage is leaked, right?
I'm
So
sure. Yeah.
I don't know where or how that happened, but whatever it is, if it's real or not, who knows? But here's the thing that I guess here's the problem that I have, or the concern, or just the awareness that I'm thinking about. It's like, why is it that a lot of like I wonder, like a lot of game companies, a lot of like small studios, whoever it is that's making a football game, whether it be an indie studio or a small guy like one man shop like we kind of are, or a bigger studio like this one seems to be a little bit bigger than what we are. They're not triple A, but they're probably like double A, whatever, single A, whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
I don't
And
even know what those mean anymore.
I don't know. I don't know either. But the thing is like, why don't more people talk like we engage? Like I know I engage a lot with my community, like too much.
Yeah,
I do it so much where it really disrupts me a lot of times, and it's probably not the best idea
that is so true.
because I'm sitting there all day like talking to people and I know that I get thrown off track all the time. And and that's kind of the downside to it, to be honest. But then at the same time, there's the upside of, being involved with your fans, making sure that you're aware of what's going on. And I really want to make the best product ever, but I also have to remember that I'm just one person. So there's always a risk reward type of thing where if you're involved with your community and you're talking to the people in the public outside of your company, then now you got to worry about all the negative noise that comes out of that, and you got to try to find a way to filter it. But what I wish like other football devs talked more like we do. I just
I
wish that
know.
that I heard more about it because I want to hear that they have the same struggles that we have, that they are also, like maybe they learned something new, like that one guy from
Oh, I
Sunday
would love
Rivals. He's always spitting out these
that.
crazy
Yeah, I really
um
like that Sunday Rivals guy. He tries. He puts videos out, but I've talked to him a few times. You've talked to him too. He just has a different purpose than we do. Um, and a lot of the devs are just so focused on having an image or making it be a certain way. They're kind of afraid of showing the warts, whereas like you and I are pretty much all warts all the time.
are you
I'm
saying
sure there's a
warts, like
balance there
warts on your
somewhere, but
hand?
I wish. What's that?
What are you saying, warts?
Warts. Yeah. You show the bad side, the downside, show where you fail and show where you hit bumps. Like I love that stuff, you
I
know?
know, but and there's also some people. There's a percentage of people also that aren't like either like comfortable with talking to people like we are.
That's
Maybe they don't.
I think that's the big part of it. Yeah.
That's probably the big part of it too. They don't feel comfortable like even like showing their face or presenting themselves or even like speaking to a crowd. I don't know, but then like But that Sunday Rivals guy, he has YouTube videos and he makes them all like,
Yeah,
post production nice and
yep,
everything.
yep. I
But
remember his first one for Sunday Rivals. 'Cause like I said, we talked to him quite a bit. Not as much lately as we used to when he was really heavy in development, getting it going. But he's awesome. He's a great guy. I
oh
remember
yeah.
his first video. He had a tough time. He had posted this somewhere, I think on a blog or somewhere, or we just during a chat. He had a tough time writing the script and practicing for his video, and it was kind of stressing him out. And I don't think he's alone when it comes to that. You script it out because you want it to come out and present a certain image, and you want it to be good, and you don't want to seem like you're making it up as you go. Because you want a certain image and you want to look professional. And just feels like that's so much stress. Um, and the other result is you don't get a lot of off the cuff discussions about things anymore. So like, somebody like Havo and I are kind of we're the oddballs. Even the guys that are just starting up, you can see that they have a certain agenda and a certain polish and they're practicing, and it's hard to have a frank discussion about what's good and what's bad and what you screwed up and what you learned when nobody else is really willing to put their mistakes out to the world.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things too where it also takes away, like right now I was working on Legend Bowl before we got on, and I know you were probably working on your stuff, and we're always working on our games, and then like this stuff takes time to do as well.
Yeah.
But I just wish I saw more people doing it just because I'm a fan of it, number one, and also because I kind of want to hear like what they're I just want to hear the truth from people. And I think more people like you guys in the chat. We have 14 people in here right now. So, make sure you guys
Nice.
click the like button if you can. Helps us out. And I just wish more people like really understood what it's like to work on football games in particular and what studios are dealing with because it's freaking hard, man. And then like you got the guys like we talked about before who are just coming out and they keep claiming they have a release date, and
What?
yeah, we have $100.
$100?
What? Oh my God, man. Damn.
What? That's insane.
That's insane. I got to find a way to get, I don't even know how to get to this money, man. I like, and I
So
also
you've got
know
like this pot of gold sitting out there. You don't even know how to get it.
I, I need to just like forget about doing my game and do these. So really like, thanks a lot, Lewis,
Oh my
man.
God,
Like,
that's
that's
awesome.
awesome, dude. Like, I mean, if you have any questions or you want us to answer anything, let us know. That's a huge donation. I mean, that's amazing. Um, that's crazy. So that's awesome. We really appreciate it. But no, it's just hard. And I'm not trying to say this because we need to get like this pat on the back like we're so great. It's just more of like I don't understand why they like why they stay so quiet all the time. And
I
maybe it's
know.
because like you said, it's like they're probably doing things smarter than we are. Like we show
And
all
it
of our
could be.
cards.
Yeah.
We're sitting here playing poker and we're letting everybody see our cards like every
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
And that
Or
might
the guy
not
that's
be the best
showing your
thing.
hand to the guy next to you going, "Is this good?
Okay.
Do I have a good hand?"
So it's 100 pesos. Okay. Thank you. So either way, I don't know what 100 pesos converts to, but either way, thanks for
Who
the.
knows? Could be $1 million. I don't even know.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought you were joking when you said pesos view, and then he says it is pesos, so that was funny. But either way, thanks for the donation.
Yeah, we're just letting everybody know that we barely know what's going on
Yeah, we don't know
right
what's going
now.
on. That's all
Yeah.
that means. But we do want to make these like enjoyable for you guys, and we want to definitely talk about things that you guys are interested in hearing about. We don't know it all. We're learning as we go. The whole entire like game dev thing is something that we go to because we really like don't hear enough about it, and we're excited about our games, and we're excited about working on these things. So like we always just want to talk about this stuff. So like why don't you kick us off with what you've been working on your end and kind of the struggles
Yeah.
that you're having or things that you're doing that you're excited about?
Yep. So I got two projects right now that I'm working on. Everybody knows about Desktop Dynasties 2, right? DD2. Lately I've been converting the whole thing over from that super I think I showed it last time. Basically that super text number heavy interface to something a little more stripped down to describe what the players are, which I call like the scouting system. But it's basically instead of seeing every rating that a player has, you get a more high level overview of what the player is. And then I leave you to see the player on the field play to kind of figure out the nuances of each player. So I've been working on converting all of the off-season activities over to that. I've been implementing the college league because I want to frankly because I want to manage a college team more than I do my pro team, right? I My pro team's the Yeti. I want to dump that. I want to get fired from the pro team and I want to go manage my college team. So I've been doing that. But the other thing, excuse me, and the other thing I did Tavo finally broke through my wall of not doing this to try to make some money. Havo finally broke through and convinced me, like, look, at some point you got to try to make money with these games, right? If you're never going to be a full time game dev by just working on Desktop Dynasties too. He didn't say that, but he's been saying that for years. And the other day, I was out doing my, going for a walk in the snow, which is very lonely and you got time to think about things. And I started thinking, all right, how am I going to make some money on Desktop Dynasties too? And I kept coming back to our discussion in the last stream about consoles. You need to get on consoles to make any real money. There's Desktop Dynasties 2 is so far away from being able to be ported to consoles that I kind of started going down the list of what would I change to be able to get it onto consoles. And as I started going down the list, I realized I'm basically talking about a different game. Um, so I started looking through my old projects that I had been doing. Because anybody who's kind of followed me for the last 2 to 3 years knows that I take on projects just to try something new.
You're
And
always
this,
doing something new. I mean, you have like
yeah,
50 prototypes, which they're all
yeah,
awesome, but it's like you got to figure out what, you know, at the end of the day, you got to figure out what's going to make people, excited about it and what
yep.
can you actually do with it to grow some legs and make some money.
Yeah, so I went through a lot of my prototypes, and I always do a prototype just to try a new technique or see if something's interesting or fun or just because. So the prototype that I think Havo and I both were the most excited about when I was working on it was the Cyberball game. And I looked at my YouTube. I don't know if I put any YouTube videos up on it. I kind of was doing the Cyberball thing to test out a theory for I think at the time I was like I was somebody was interested talking about this and they wanted me to prototype it and see if it was a game and it had legs and it just didn't work out. And my Cyberball game kind of morphed into the 3K engine. Well, I went back and found a few Twitter clips of it and looked at it and I was like, you know what? I think there's something here. So I don't know why I'm coughing. So I think I got coffee in my lungs. That's what's going on. So I picked that up again and now I'm kind of spinning up the Cyberball game again. So that's the other project I'm working on. And this time, because I'm not a broke game dev, I actually have a full-time job. I'm going to start hiring some people to do some modeling and animation and things for me to kick this project off and see if it has legs. I'm going to develop it specifically to be ported to consoles. It's going to be a gamepad controller. You're going to play on the field. It's basically going to be like the old Cyberball game.
I
Um,
think I think that idea. See, the cool thing
yeah.
about that idea, I think, is that nobody's really doing anything like that, right? And the closest thing to
Yeah.
that is probably like, I don't know, Mutant Football League or something like that, which still
Yeah.
isn't even like robots. But I think that's a pretty cool idea. I think it's manageable. I think the scope is small enough where you can actually build something that you can complete in a reasonable amount of time. The animations don't need to be crazy
Yeah.
because it's robots. You're gonna have a guy probably tip over and fall, and you don't need to have like realistic. And that's the thing that you have to try to figure out is like that's what I did with Legend Bowl in a way. It was like, what can I do to make sure that I don't get stuck in the same bucket that Madden is in, where everything has to look simulation? When you have games like APF and you have ESPN 2K5 and you have games that look that good. I mean, and APF was the most beautiful animation system to date for a football game,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I love it.
And when you start to make a game that looks like a realistic football game, well, now all of a sudden you have to worry about the animations looking just as good as them Because if they're not just as good as a 13-year-old game, right? 14-year-old game,
Yeah.
whatever it is now, you're not gonna be no one's gonna get excited about it. They're just not, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah, and at
find
the end of the day, that's like the number one thing you gotta think about is, like, if you're gonna make a game that's got animation, your animation's gotta be on point or people are just gonna look at the bad side of it, right? They're gonna say this animation sucks.
yeah, they're gonna quickly pick it
Regardless
apart.
of how good it is, if it's not the best, it sucks.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if they already have something that was better over a decade ago, then I understand where they're coming from, but it just sucks because like what everybody wants is another 2K game or a better, superior version of Madden, and they're not going to get that if they don't support a company, right? But they're not going to support a company unless the company is
Yeah.
making
Catch
something.
22,
It's a
right?
catch 22, right? So it's like a double-edged sword there, and so I think that's why I think the smarter plan or the smarter alternative is to just make something that's not
Yep,
anywhere near what the Madden game looks like. And I think
yep.
like even making a game like Sunday Rivals or Super Mega Football, let's say, I think that has potential. But even then, you still have to get some pretty damn good animations, or
Yeah,
else it's
you
gonna
still
it's
end
gonna
up
look
in the
bad.
animation loop. And animation is not I know people don't always realize how expensive animation is. It's it, you know, let's just let's just talk about like a basic running animation. Running and changing directions, right? It's just one of hundreds of animations you need. But let's say you're running a guy running forward and then makes a right turn. Think of the animations that are just in that. There's the running forward animation, there's the plant and turn animation, and then there's the come out of the plant and start running again. That's three animations for one turn. Now, not every turn is 90 degrees, right? There's, you know, 45 degrees. You go up to 45. The transit, that's basically you have to change the transition, right? The actual turning and then the animation coming out of the turn. So that's two additional animations just to add a 45 degree. Well, not every turn is 90 or 45, right? There's come back, right? Come back 135 degrees. Add two more. There's 90, 180 degrees. Go up and turn around and come back. Add at least two more. Now you start adding that up and you say just to do from running one direction to running another direction, you end up with, you know, conservatively 30 animations that have to be made just from running in one direction to running in a different direction. That's at least 30 animations. All right.
People,
Well,
and
how
you
do
know
you
what?
create
I guarantee you that most people on here don't even realize that's a thing. Like I'm even like, wow, 30 and I'm even surprised that it's
at
that much.
least? Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. You should probably show, I don't know how quickly if you can even get to it, but it'd be cool to show that drafting that you were doing to show your animations again. If you can pull it up, if not, no big deal. Or if you have a
Yeah, I
video
don't
on it,
have
maybe throw it
yeah, I
up.
don't have that right now.
You could
We'll
maybe
bring that. We'll
throw
do an animation specific episode at some
Yeah,
point.
that's
Maybe
fine. I
let's
just
do that.
wonder if people are sick of looking at our faces too. But
Yeah.
I think that the animation you had going there was a really, really good. It's probably the best attempt I've seen so far from anybody who's not a AAA studio.
Oh,
Um,
you mean my Madden killer stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let me bring that up. I'll bring that up while you're talking.
yeah. Bring it up because I think it's worth highlighting here because you did some pretty innovative things there, and like you look at the games that are making people that are making football games like Access Football. And sorry if I call anybody out and I maybe don't talk the best about them, but we're just giving examples that we know. And so there's Access Football, there's Maximum Football. Those are the two that come to mind, and their animations are very stiff and very simple because, like you said, it takes hundreds and thousands of animations probably to make anything that looks pretty good. But what you did here, I think, was a very, very like unique and creative way to make it look more realistic. But View mentioned in here about the
Let's do the routes and coverages one.
about the Sunday Rivals game, how they were blocky and they could get away with those animations. You can get away with it all day long. I wish that game had better ball physics, to be honest with you. I think the ball physics are a little lacking in that game, and obviously the animations are, they're very basic. Um, I've played that game. I haven't played it in a while though. I played it real quick so many months ago, but that's going back to what we were the topic was more about, is there a way you can full screen that too? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
How's
looks
that
good
look?
there. That looks great. So yeah, if we could play that while you're yeah.
Yeah, so let me forward to some action. So what this is just the quickness drill, just running and changing directions. That's all this is. Now, the funny thing is, um,
But that looks really, really good, and unless you have an eye for it, you can't really tell probably, but if you know what the basic games or the other games I mentioned are doing, or even the guys that try to bring up a game overnight and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make a brand new game in a year."
let's do the coverage drill.
It looks it looks pretty good, like, the transitions from, side to side, left to right, from direction to direction, they seem fluid and they look clean and nice. They don't overdo it and they don't underdo it in any way.
All right, so we got coverage here. So it's basically multiple animation sets if they ever start running. Here they go. So the orange guy, the guy at the Tennessee uniform, is doing the basic forward running. The guy in the blue uniform, the Bills uniform, that's little Havo. He's using the strafe set. And then the quarterback is using the quarterback animation set. So let's move forward to another group. And the thing that a lot of times people don't understand is like all of these animations have to get made, right? Changing direction, going from a standstill to a run in any direction, going from one direction to any other direction. Um, whether you're in forward running versus strafe running versus quarterback shuffle with the ball, those are all of those animation sets require, that minimum of 30 plus animations to be able to transition from one to another. Some of the like strafe takes probably double the amount that forward running does.
But how did you make
But
these animations for people that are interested in maybe
so I
learning?
actually didn't make the animations themselves. These are all I cobbled these together out of role playing game and action game animation sets that I had bought over the last few years. So these are cobbled together out of mocap data that I have. I probably have 500 to $1,000 worth of just stock mocap data that I cobbled together and created transitions in between and AI systems to pick the right transitions and things like that in order to get them to do this stuff.
I mean, it looks amazing. The
It's
more I
okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
but the more I watch it, the more I say to myself, like, what other company that's doing anything with football shows anything like this? I mean, you have an actual game here. These guys are actually playing football. I know it's not the full thing with all the polish and every
yeah.
menu and everything, the full cycle of it or whatever, but this is an actual game. This isn't just
Yeah, it's
somebody make
actual game footage,
right.
which is what I wish more people were doing because we could learn from each other and we could help each other and we could like commiserate with each other about how what's hard. But you don't see that. So like people don't understand how hard animation is. If I were to and somebody suggested this a while back when I was showing this, they're like, "Well, your running animation isn't quite right. You should get hire an animator to do the animation." And the reason I was going down the road of how many animations it takes is because, one animation set, let's just say is 30 animations, right? An animator can hand do a good high quality animation that's consistent with your animation set. Let's just say one a week, which I think is fairly aggressive. You're talking about a year to do one animation set. Like we haven't even gotten to strafe. We haven't even gotten to quarterback shuffle. We haven't even gotten to, catch the ball, tackles, get tackled, break tackle, kickers, right? Throw different types of throws. Like it just go down the list. We haven't even gotten to those. So one animation for a year, that's not cheap. That's like 100 grand, right? You pay maybe you can get it for a little bit less, but let's say 60 grand. You can
Wait a
find
minute.
somebody
Are
who's not an expert animator, right?
you're saying now I'm lost because you're saying it takes a year to make one animation? You got to
No,
repeat
I'm
that.
saying let's just say it takes a week to make one
Oh,
really good animation.
oh, I got you. So for
You've
all
got
the
an animation
animations.
set with 30 to 50 animations in it. Takes a year just to make that set.
That sounds about right. And
Yeah.
they're not even gonna be like state of the art animations. They're gonna just be basic enough, right, to look somewhat like football, right? Or do you think they look
Yeah.
pretty good?
Yeah, I would say let's just say they're pretty good, right? Let's even just say that they're elite level.
And we're not even talking about mocap here. We're talking about
No,
actually
this is hand animation. Yeah, so
yeah.
it takes a long time to do hand animation. So when people say, "Well, don't use mocap, just hire an animator will get me maybe my strafe set in a year. If he's super super fast, maybe I can get the strafe set and the quarterback running set. For 100 grand. I need to hire an army of those guys to get all the animations you need, and now you're talking like $500,000 per
I just
year.
I hate
There's just
seeing
no way.
I hate seeing this video because it always makes me want you to continue working on it. Like
I know I would love to,
there's
but
nothing
there's
out there
just
that looks anywhere near this good in my opinion. Like, yeah, I mean,
like,
your camera's a little far back, which I've told you, which
oh yeah,
hurts like you can't see them as well. But if you look
yeah,
at it,
but
you can still see it.
moving the camera's easy.
That's better. I mean, that looks even better there when it comes down. But the
Yeah.
thing is like you could take this and turn it into a game. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I don't know how
100%.
much. Yeah, like what? Like I know we were just
So,
talking
like
about
I'm saying,
Cyberball,
if you want to hire an animators to do this, you're talking $500,000 of hiring animators,
right?
right? I don't have that kind of money. So then
No,
the only other option is mocap. And I bring that up because people always say, well, you don't need mocap. Well, you do need mocap if you have a budget at all, because hiring animators is incredibly expensive because first of all, you pay people for their work. Second of all, if you want good animation, you need a good animator, and good animators cost money, a lot of money. And third of all, if you want your animations to be consistent, now you need to hire the same group of people for the whole project, which means a lot of money up front. So you're left with mocap, right? And what does mocap cost? Well, like I said, each animation set if you're going to do mocap, they all got to be done at the same time. So if I want all my strafe animations to work together, I need to do the whole strafe animation set at once. That's about a day in a mocap studio. That's not horrible. Time wise, it's great, right? You go in, you do a day's worth of animation. They usually take a few weeks to clean it up because mocap data doesn't come out perfect. They take a few weeks and they clean up all the weird stuff in it. And then you get this great mocap animation that you can use. It flows smoothly from like run straight to turn to run a different direction, right? Mocap data is great for making smooth transitions, and it's great for looking human like. Um, and it's fast. You can get it fast. The problem is to rent a mocap studio to generate mocap data is also not cheap. I've gotten quotes for just a basic mocap set that would have taken about a week to do to capture, and then it would have taken like a month or so to clean up. Just like running with all the turns, strafe with all the turns. Um, I think I asked for a few specific ones like catching the ball and throwing the ball. Just enough to get me started was like 60 grand. Um, that's not bad when you compare it to hiring animators, but who's got
true.
60 grand just to get the basics? Once I start getting into tackling, kicking, break tackles, all the different types of catches, not just the one catch that I got quoted, like 5 different types of catches, right? Catching high, catching low, catching while you're running, catching while you're standing still, catching over the shoulder, right? You're back up to a couple of $100,000 at least.
So
Maybe
what do you
quarter
think is
million.
what do you think is cheaper? Do you think it's cheaper to get mocap, or do you think it's cheaper to hire
I think
animators?
mocap's cheaper. I
Mocap's
do.
cheaper.
Um, the cheapest option I found is just build my own mocap studio, frankly. It costs less to get a space, buy a building, buy a mocap studio.
Buy a building.
For real, it does. It would be cheaper for me to build a mocap studio than to just get animations from somebody. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy.
Yeah, but then once you get the mocap, isn't there also like I know you mentioned it that it takes time to put in, but like what is the learning curve to get and the time frame to get the mocap animations imported into your game and working in your game? Because I know that people have done mocap. I know that Dave Winter
Yeah.
did mocap, right? Some people have paid for
Yep.
mocap.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Like
why didn't
Dave
why didn't
Winter's
that ever
got
make it into the game, or did it
yeah,
make
he's
it into the
got
game?
like hundreds of $1,000s of mocap that never made it into the game. Um,
But
I
why?
see
Do you know
that's a
why?
tough one because depending on how you set up your animation system. So the way that Dave set up his animation system, it was actually really hard to use new animations. It was incredibly difficult, which is why most of the animation that they had never made it in the game. Um, and if you use Unity, the way Unity does animation makes it really, really hard to add new animations. It's just like the mechanism system is so hard to use. I don't know what Unreal's like. I hope it's easier because it couldn't be harder. Um, but the system that I was working on, which is it's kind of like a I wouldn't say like it's not really like an IK animation system. It's probably closer to a motion matching system that uses kind of an AI to figure out which animations to use. Um, it actually wasn't very hard. Um, for me, it took about 3 months of solid work to learn how to get animations to work together. But once I got that system together, adding new animations was really easy for me. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. The cost and the effort is getting the animation, and that's what people often give me that comment like, well, all you need to do is just get more animation. It's like, well, that's the hardest part. That's the most expensive part is getting the animations. Once I got them, I can make the greatest game ever. Getting all those animations is what separates AAA from everybody else, right? Madden can spend $100 million on generating animation. The rest of us can't, you know?
No. So let's so we always end up, it's funny, we always end up down the same path whenever we talk. And it's always like I know I always steer you into your 3K project because
Yeah.
I thought that that
I
was
know you
a
want to see that happen and I want it too, but like we always come back to money.
but what right. And what's cool about the reason why I always go back to that is because I thought that what you were doing for the limited amount of resources that you spent on it was pretty like it's pretty inspirational. Like it's awesome. Like I get like motivated when I see it because I feel like that's like a proof of concept that tells me that you could do a lot more
Yep.
and you don't need to have $50 million to do it. Like we've talked about the budget. I know we have differences in our opinions of what it would cost, but I think that it's a very nice prototype that you did, and I think that it's something that most people can't even do, even if they are a bigger studio than you and I. So I
Yeah.
I always try to like think about it because
Yeah, you remember when I did it too? We talked about this. That 3K project and that animation was one of my prototypes. And that's back when I was still doing game dev full time, right? I was Desktop Dynasties 1 had failed miserably. I was looking for the next thing and we were talking about how do you get money to make a football game? And we came to animation. If you could show you could do 3K 2K animation, maybe there's some money to be had there. So I put that together to prove, like you had said, it's a proof of concept. Yes, an indie dev can make a game like 2K. It can be done. The hurdle is the money and the animation.
So let me ask you,
Um,
I know we've talked about it, but while you mentioned the money, because
yeah,
all I ever do is think about like if you how much money, and I know it's hard to pick the dollar amount, but seriously, do you have a like a good idea of what it would take to take what you did there and turn it
yeah,
into a full-fledged game, not with all the bells and whistles that Madden has, but something that's good enough to wrap up in a bow and sell it on Steam or consoles?
yeah.
What do you think it would take?
I think I've been kind of wrestling with it a little bit because part of one of our strategies has always been like maybe we just launch something small, get some investor money, and do a smaller version, right? Whether that's a 2K like game or whether that's Super Mega Football, right? I think I landed somewhere around $800,000 to get a game that's, and this is going to answer kind of what Mac Anthony. I'm looking at some of the questions too, like a 2K with updated 2K with a franchise mode, Desktop Dynasties 2 with good animation, right? Something like that. It would be. local multiplayer probably, right? Not online franchise, not online multiplayer. It'd be like local couch multiplayer with the gamepad. It would have franchise, but mostly it would have this 3K type engine, full animation and all that stuff. Obviously no NFL or NCAA licenses, but also able to be ported to consoles, right? It would be set up in a way that you could play it on consoles. I think 800K could do it. Um,
You got to wonder it. Do you think
it
that
would be tight. That's a tight budget. I obviously more would be better, but I think it could be done with 800K.
right? How much did the guys from Gridiron? What did they make? Like a million or something? What was their Kickstarter campaign or whatever they did to generate
Oh my
money?
god, I don't remember.
I swear
Oh,
they
the one that everybody that turned out to be a scam, is that the one you're talking about?
yeah.
I I, I want to say it was less than that.
I swear I thought it was
They
like a
made a
million.
lot for it being a scam, but I think when it comes to making a AAA game, they didn't make nearly enough.
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember. Yeah.
I don't remember, but let me I can try to find it too while we're talking. But
Yeah,
I
while you're
but
looking at that, I'll answer this other question here. Lewis M. Dumb question. Can you rent a mocap studio for a day and hire a high school player to record all the data? That's probably possible. Um, I think the trouble with doing that is the cleanup. So you'd be using another company's mocap system with their software and things like that. And then you would be taking that raw data and somehow you'd have to clean that up for use without being an expert in their software, which is you're kind of going down the road of what I was thinking when I talk about starting my own mocap studio. It's not because the capturing mocap data is super hard. It's because then I would be familiar with my system and I would be able to do the cleanup myself or hire somebody internally to do our cleanup because we would understand how our system works. That's the part that's tough. Raw mocap data is not hard to get. It's there's a little bit of money and cost there. It's the what do you do with that raw data to make it usable? It's a little bit harder.
yeah, so okay, so I found something. I don't know if I can present it. I don't really want to. Let me try to present this here. Hold on. Let's see
Uh-oh.
my my window.
Hang on, everybody.
Let's see. Does it work?
Technical issues. Here we go. Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's working.
Oh my god, they only got 10 grand.
Why does it look so dark? Does that look okay?
It looks fine to me.
Okay, maybe because I'm just that's the way it looks on my end. But okay, so yeah, to avoid
Oh, it's
infinity,
a little darker streaming too.
don't share your
You can
entire
still
screen.
see it though.
Oh, there we go. That's better. I had like a little pop up that was up. All
Oh,
right,
okay. Okay.
so it's showing that they only had $10,000 here or so in the Kickstarter, but I swear they were doing more with it at one point. Like there was more.
Yeah, I thought the controversy was that they actually got a lot of money
They
and
did.
then didn't do anything with it. I thought that was the why there was so much controversy at the time.
They did get they got a lot. I swear they had like I want to
Yeah,
say $1 million,
because they
but
got
I could be
sued
wrong.
too, I think.
They I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure
nobody's
they
gonna
did.
sue them if all they got was 10K.
Well, whatever they got. I know they got a lot of money
Talk about my basketball game.
and the
Yeah,
point.
while you're looking phenomenal, I'm just gonna answer questions here for a second.
Okay.
Um, my basketball game. So raw footage asked you, Havo, to make a basketball version of Legend Bowl and then maybe baseball. So let's just right away, let's just please say we'll never make a baseball game because
There's
people
well, there's no
people
reason
know
to. There's no reason to
my
for
hate of baseball, right? It's not
it,
even a sport. What is baseball? I don't
I
even know.
I think that I mean there are so many baseball games out there, and then
Yeah,
Super
there's a
Mega
lot of baseball
Baseball
games
is
actually.
something
Yeah.
that's already out that I would probably
It's
try to
like
shoot
making a new
for.
soccer game, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, exactly. Why would I make something that's been out? But there's not a lot of football games, and that's
Yeah.
why. And plus, I love football, so it's it's a good like catch 22 thing. It's
Yeah.
fine, it works for me. But at the same time, I there's too many games out there, and I don't think there's going to be enough unless you do something
Yeah.
creative like the Tactics and Glory game. Then I
Yeah, and
think
that's where Phenomenal View asked about my basketball game. Yeah, that was another one of my prototype projects. I was making a basketball version of Football Tactics and Glory, turn-based basketball, and I think there's potential there. Um, I that was just a sort of a palate cleanser for Desktop Dynasties 2. I was getting a little burnt out on it. So I did that project just to learn a couple of things about first of all, that project actually was really for me to learn and get a little bit more comfortable with multiplayer gamepad input. It didn't show up on my videos, but that was a huge part of why I was doing that project. That multiplayer gamepad input to get comfortable with that so that I could do something that ported to consoles.
So I found some stuff here on
Yeah,
Gridiron or whatever IMV Gaming. They raised. I mean, there's a quote here about $300,000, and then I also saw a quote here about a $5 million potential investment from other studios that were out there, like the Big Ant partnership or like Flonamix, FLONAMIX, whatever,
yeah,
Incorporated. So we know that those guys were really good at trying to find money. But the bottom line is, I guess I guess what I always try to think about is number one, what would it take to do it financially, and then also, so you mentioned it would be under a million probably to get your
yeah.
concept to some
Tight
shippable
budget, but I think
product.
it could be done. Yeah.
Right. But then you think about, if you really take a step back, you say to yourself, okay, is there an audience out there that would even buy the game? How much
That's
money
the
would
tough
you
part.
make? Would
Yeah.
you recoup? That's a lot of money to recoup. Like,
It's a
for,
lot to yeah, a lot to get back before you even get to profit.
and that's what you have to think about, because like for me, for Legend Bowl, I'm not working a full-time job right now for a while now. And so, I mean, Legend Bowl is my full-time job, but I'm missing the opportunity cost of a regular, salaried employee type of job. And so, like, that's what I compare it to, which is still a lot of money, when you think about it. But it's easier for me to deal with because I really haven't taken money out of my bank account per se, not a lot. Like, I didn't have to get a loan for $1 million for me to make the game, right? But I'm also
Yeah.
losing money every year because I'm not working. So it's like you can look at it, two different ways. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that it it's hard because you have to figure out, what is it going to cost you to do it? How much time is it going to take you to do it? And then what kind of return do you think you're going to get on it? And I think a game like the one you're talking about, it's probably not in the cards because there's just too many people
Yeah.
that, are
Yeah,
not
and
going to.
let's even just say, just since we're talking about the behind the scene business of a lot of this stuff, let's even just say that we decided to do it, right? $800,000. Now, that $800,000 is money that I am going to use to get assets and animation and art, and I'm going to either use it to buy these things or hire these things. So that's money that we have to put out. The revenue side coming in, remember, the revenue coming in gets taxed. The revenue coming in loses the Steam percent and the consoles percent.
50%.
So that's like
You get
30%.
50% basically,
So
right?
basically, you get 50%, and that 50% is the $800,000. So we'd have to recoup $1.6
1.6.
million
Right.
dollars to break even.
Right. Right. Well,
That's a tall order for a football game that doesn't have online play, that doesn't have NFL, NCAA licenses.
yeah, you got to make 1.6 million just to break even. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah,
And then, but
that's a
then,
tough one.
yeah, and that's a tough thing too. Like for tax purposes too, it's also hard because you spent 800,000, so you should be able to deduct that money somehow over how many. I don't even know how that works because I know
Yeah,
I
there'd be
spent.
some tax deductions and
But
things like
you're right.
that.
I
Like
mean,
you
let's
can't
forget
get
about.
away from the 30% cut that that the market's going to take, right? The
Right.
console store or Steam.
Right. So, but that's see, but you talk to any investor and they're going to be like, whoa, 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 that's way too much money to be your bottom dollar, like, break even point. That's just too much money, too many sales that you have to have. So nobody's going to do it.
Yep.
Okay, so then that's why we don't want to talk about this anymore, because unless you're going to raise, that kind of money, and also you have the projection of sales to say you're going to forecast $1.6 million in sales, and that's not even including the porting company, right? As soon as you start porting the game, then take even more out of that, right? Or
Yeah,
did you
it's just
already include? You
it
didn't
adds
include
up.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But going back to
So
your
that's why I
idea,
say for me to
Cybervault.
do this, somebody would have to just flat out give me that money. Like not a loan, not an investment, it would have to just dump money on me for it to be financially viable. We'd have, like last time we were joking when we said if somebody could dump truck a bunch of money to us, could we do it? And your first question was how much of that would we lose? My
All
answer
of
is we'd lose all of it because we would like we absolutely would lose all that money. It's a terrible investment.
horrible. That's
But
horrible. And
so this is a long way of you kind of bringing us back to like why are we talking about doing things like cyberball, right?
exactly, exactly. And I think, and I
Legend
think,
Bowl,
and I think,
right?
yeah, and I think cyberball is actually a legitimate like opportunity for you if you can scope it small enough and you can do it where you're not going to
Yep.
spend too much of your money or time, and but you still have to find a way to get people interested in the game. And
But
like
I
for
don't need as many. That's
y-
the trick, right?
that's
My
right.
animation has gone from let's say 500 to like 10.
Right. That's the trick of any business, right? Spend the least amount of money possible so you don't have to worry about getting that many sales. And like there are guys that we follow, like that Orange Pixel guy. He makes really, really small games, really fast, really cheap, and he doesn't make a lot of money, but he doesn't have to because he's still clearing about 60 grand a year. And that might be enough for somebody to live. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make a AAA competitor, you need to be bringing in millions and you need the investment initially to even get there and who's going to take on that risk. So I always get excited about your 3K project, but I want to hear this. I need to hear this because it needs to push me back down to like everybody else in the chat or people out there. You guys need to all realize that at the end of the day, this is a business. And unless you're somebody who had just prints money like the Fed, you are not going to be able to fund this. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys need to be
Which when you think
happy.
about it like that, that it makes sense why all pro football 2K8 failed, right?
And why they didn't do a franchise mode, to be
Because the
honest with you.
investment didn't make sense.
No, because they would have had to spend another at least what 6 months to a year, who knows how long, with X amount of expenses to build that out. And then all of a sudden, now they have to make that much more in sales. They didn't even make enough to clear their current game, right?
Yeah.
And everybody claims it's because they didn't have franchise. No, no, it's because they didn't have the license. And it's because they didn't have the full-fledged version of 2K5 upgraded, which everybody expected it to be. So they knew the writing was on the wall and they would have lost more money had they done it. Because there's not enough people like you and I who would have bought it without the
Yeah.
license. So I don't
But
so
but when you talk about a game like Legend Bowl, right? Like Cyberball, it's not NFL. So, and it doesn't take a huge investment, right? Cyberball, I could get away with like 10. I'm hiring some people right now to do animation and I'm down to like 4 animations. That's doable. I could do that. Right. So it becomes really cheap and your first version doesn't need 100,000 people to buy it. It maybe only needs 1,000 people to buy it
right.
or 500 people to buy it. And that's doable.
Right. And that's the thing. Like if you're doing something, especially when you're working a full time job and doing it part time, you really have
Yeah.
to get very, very efficient with your time. You have to be smart with what you're doing. You have to make sure what you're doing has legs to it, can grow into something. And sometimes a lot of times you just don't know. Like I built Legend Bowl just out of just faith that it was going to do well enough to keep me going, and if it didn't, I'd go back and get a job. And you know, I tend to feel sometimes that it might make it, but I don't know yet because we're not on consoles yet. But so far, it's doing very well for for what any game typically does on Steam. But it's still not enough to keep the lights on for most people. So but the thing is like it's hard. I guess my point was that it's hard to predict how well something's going to do. And then if you want to predict how well it's going to do, well, then you got to do a lot of marketing. You got to do a lot of, like prototyping and show screens to show people, to sell people the idea. Then they have to like it. Then you can get or you just save all that time, think really hard on it, ask a few friends, whatever, and then build. So I think like I know for me, Cyberball would be a really like I think you have a good shot there because of the scope of the game, and then also I think it's something that people you would capture people that like sci-fi too. It wouldn't just be hardcore Madden or 2K guys. You would get guys
Yeah.
who like football, or maybe they don't like football and they like those type of fantasy type of games. There's a huge audience that likes Blood Bowl, right? That game's
Yeah.
out there. I don't think
And
it's
it
that
can be ported to console, which Desktop
right.
Dynasties 2 could not. Yeah.
Right. The only thing about consoles that sucks, and you guys need to understand this, is that finding a publisher to port for you they need to believe in your project a little bit because they're investing in your project, right? So like either you do it yourself, which is super hard to do, or you find someone who's interested. Like for me, for Legend Bowl, it was hard for me to find somebody. I didn't have people knocking on my door left and right. I'll get a random email here and there of some publisher that wants to talk about doing it, but no big names, right? So it's hard to find someone because now you got to worry about. So I think the strategy, to be honest with you, is to find something that you think that you can make money off on Steam first,
Yeah.
enough to feel like you can get, people's eyes on it, because once you start making money, then you're going to start to attract some funding, right?
Yeah, and at our level, Steam success is going to be impulse buys. I think we've learned that we're not going to get the media buzz for people to anticipate buying our games and to log into Steam specifically to find our game.
Right.
I think what we're going to find is people who are looking at the genre and impulse buy it. They're like, "Oh, a football game. Let me get this. This looks cool." And the price point will be right so that they can impulse buy. That's how we're going to be successful on Steam. Like the first launch is going to be people that are interested in what we're doing, but the tail is going to be where most of the money is made is going to be impulse buys. So like a game like Desktop Dynasties 2 is not going to drive impulse buy. A game like Cyberball probably would, right? A game like Legend Bowl probably would bring in some impulse buy. And then you'd be successful enough to go to consoles. Yep. Uh-oh, somebody said you're muted.
I am muted.
That's weird because I can hear you.
You heard me?
I heard that whole thing.
You son of
Yeah.
a bitch. So I don't
I was
know.
very interested in
I
everything. It
saw.
was like the greatest take that we've had since we started doing this. Like you got to say it all over again now.
Well, I can't remember all that. Yeah, it was a masterpiece. You guys are gonna
It
have
was
to
a
just read my
masterpiece.
lips.
It's like Shakespeare talking football game dev. It was amazing.
It just goes back to the hobby versus the business side, and if you're doing it as a hobby, I'm jealous of you sometimes because I feel like, man, like you don't have to worry. Like, yeah, you got to go to a job that you may not, love as much as doing game dev, but you get to check out and literally do what you want to do. I mean, you got family stuff to do, you got chores, whatever, but at the end of the day, like you don't
Oh,
have
the
to
day's
sit
over. The
here.
day's over.
Yeah, the day's over. You could check out, unplug, do whatever you want to do and not worry about how you're going to make money to support your family. And there's something nice about that, but at the same time, if you're trying to find, like, that's why I think that Cyberball will be cool if you're passionate
Yeah.
about it enough, and you think you can do it in a reasonable amount of time with your schedule. I say go for it, bro. What are you laughing
Yeah,
at
I
now?
really loved it the first
Oh,
time I did it. Um, what stopped me then, as I kind of said, I was trying to be a time game dev with one failed game already on my catalog, so I just didn't have the money to invest in the models and the animation. And for better or worse, now that game dev is a hobby and I have a full time job, I do have the money to invest in Cyberball. So I think maybe everything just aligned perfectly for this to be have such high potential now. Like I said,
right.
I'm working with some artists on getting Cyberball models and animation made that'll be far above what I could have ever done myself. So I'm kind of excited about it now.
I think the only thing is you just have to figure out the one thing that kind of always scares me about, the 3D environment that you work in with Unity a lot of times is like, what is the final game going to look like? And like, I just don't want Cyberball to become this massive UI, or not UI, but like 3D heavy, like asset thing that you're gonna have to worry about making look pretty, like so pretty, like 26K is doing with Sunday Rivals. Like, if you're gonna get into that field
I'll
of,
never be as pretty as Sunday Rivals.
but that's
My
what you,
God, that guy's talented.
but that's what you have to be like. That's what you kind of have to like think about because
Yeah, I'll show more next time or whenever I have something to show.
Do you have that
But
robot thing that you showed me the other day, like handy to just
I'm
pull
not
up?
using those. It turns out I'm not gonna use those. I actually found an
Oh,
artist who's really gonna do some awesome stuff, so I'm not even gonna install that in my
okay.
Cyberball project.
Because those were pretty cool to just see from a
They were cool,
visual.
but I showed him those and said, "I want this look, but with actual Cyberball robots." And
Nice.
he's like, "Done. Don't worry about it. I got this." So I'm
Really?
pretty pumped. But we're gonna go, like to your concern about using 3D and it looking too gritty and realistic. I'm going the opposite route. I'm going high color, high contrast, tune like some people call it tune. I call it like vibrant environment style. So Sunday Rivals is kind of the more realistic, low poly look. I'm not doing that. I'm going like cartoon. These guys are going to explode into a billion pieces. Like it's going to be over the top fun,
But
is what I'm going for.
are you using the what do you call that art style? Like the one like the Zelda did, like the Wind Waker, like that
Oh
cartoon look
yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
I'm not sure. I just know I'm going as bright and as fun look as I possibly can.
Yeah, I need to do some research because there's games that I'm thinking about that I can't like get in my head right now that I think you should have an idea of what you're talking about because that's what you got to shoot for. If you're shooting for
Yep,
the 3D look, like you're trying to be the regular 3D Unity stuff, I don't think it's not gonna look as good. It's gonna be a lot more work, and then you got to worry about being competing with guys like who are doing the beauty of the 2K game, 226K Sunday Rivals game, and
yep,
you're just hurting yourself at that point. So
yep,
picking that kind of art form that's going to give you the least amount of work and the most bang for your buck is definitely important
yep.
for
That's the
sure.
goal. Yep.
Yeah. I want to see that. I want to see that. So you got to
I
show
know.
us.
I
You
will.
always have cool things to show us, man. On these shows that we do, it's like I'm sitting here working on my game and it is what it is and I'm busy on
Yeah,
franchise
you don't
mode.
have the freedom to try random crap like I do.
I, I miss it, bro. I miss doing that. Like I've done a little bit of prototyping on things and I start getting like it starts to become
I
fun.
remember our space game phase. We had like both of us did like 2 months. We were making space games.
My space
Man,
game
that was
sucked.
fun.
I was
Oh, they
trying to
both sucked. Like ours were terrible, but my God, that was fun.
And that's what I've realized, like, for somebody like me, for sure, I'm not this wizard that just poof magically makes this awesome looking game and art. I have to like literally grind my way to make anything look good and feel good. And it's like I can do it. I've proven that I can do it, but it's really like not it's not efficient, it's not fast. It's like really just like a bunch of energy going towards something that I really don't have the skills for. And then just all of a sudden, boom, 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 it becomes
I
something
know.
over time, you know?
It's tough to
So,
start. Yeah.
but I really would love to see what you're doing. I think that it would be great. I don't know when you're going to be able to show anything, what kind of timeline you have.
Yeah. I don't know. I gotta see when the models are coming in, but I'm working on the interface right now and I'm specifically using help on the interface to make it a little more interesting and vibrant and not so just square boxes and text. So who knows? Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll have at least some directional art to show. It'd be cool if I had an actual at least one robot would be cool, and then I could have them drive around the screen.
I think the first
That'd be
time you can
awesome.
like throw a football to, like what you're doing in the 3K example, if you could do that or anything. I mean, I'm dying
Yeah,
to see something new because there's nobody else showing anything new that actually is workable and not some marketing, ploy.
leaked footage. I'll show you guys some leaked footage.
That wasn't even that wasn't even footage. That was a
I
weird
know.
like sequence, like some cinematic
These,
like movie.
sometimes now I think that they're just posting this stuff to set us off.
I don't know, man. I know a lot of guys are using it for bait click, type stuff,
I
clickbait
know,
stuff,
I know. I know
but
the game. I just don't like the game.
no, I hate the game. That's why I'm not in the game. I'm
Yeah.
not in the game. I hate the corporate thing. I
I'd
can't
rather
stand
see
it.
some clunky in-game footage than a polished cutscene that doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah. And we got to, you and I have to think about you guys in the chat, anybody out there who watches this afterward, leave us some comments about what you guys want to hear. Cause we always, like, we're dying to do these videos, even though it takes time. Like, we're already been doing it for an hour and 20. We're probably going to get off now because it's too long
Yeah,
already.
it's probably good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys just help us get some topics out there. We're going to try to get better at, the technical side of it. And, we're not here for pure entertainment. We're here to just kind of just tell you guys how, what's on our minds and what we're
Like
thinking
today,
about.
I was like, let's do it. What should we talk about?
Because we don't know. But we love
Who
doing this
knows?
because this is a way for us to just get this off our chests and just share some stuff with you
It
guys
does
and
feel
just
good. Yeah.
it does. And I like to be honest with you, I like to interview you because I want to hear what you're doing. And that to me is fun because you're always doing something cool,
Yeah, I
something brand
forget that
new.
I do all these things and nobody ever sees them. There's
No.
so many of my projects. I bet there's probably a dozen prototypes that I did that you don't even know existed.
No.
It's
And
so
because you're
weird.
not sitting there, and that's what sucks, because you're not sitting there making this beautiful video with all this cut scenes and 3D animations and whatever and great like dialogue, like comment, like narrating over it. Like if you did that, you would get more views, you'd get more
Yeah.
followers, but it's like to watch some just like on this video, it's probably boring for half the people at least. And it could be boring just sit here and talk about the business side or how you're making a
Yeah,
game or what it
I'll
would take.
rewatch it like 5 times, I'm sure.
Oh, I'll watch it too because I'm just like a loser that way. I'll watch it, but you know, and they're always better than what I think they are. To be
Yeah,
honest, like when I'm doing them now, I always feel like they're not that great. But then when I watch them, like it's pretty cool. Like I would
I
like to
know.
watch this, but we don't have any. Just so you guys know, we don't have any agenda here. We're just chatting amongst the community and you and ourselves, and we're just talking freely about things that are on our mind, and we hope that you guys can you know ask questions, be involved, and help us kind of have a somewhat worthwhile show. I don't know, but
Who
I think it's
knows?
working. I think it's working so far.
If it's not worthwhile now, eventually we'll get good at it.
Yeah, or we'll just quit and say this is a waste of our time. Yeah, cell
Ah,
shaded. So cell shading. You're not doing that, are you?
no, I'm not doing that. No.
Okay.
I don't have the talent myself, and getting somebody talented enough to do that would be really difficult. It's much easier to find people who can model.
So they're going to be three. Do you have? I mean, real quick. Do you have any like picture of what you want, like an image that you've pulled somewhere that you've shown the guy, or
Um,
no?
no, all I've been using when I talk to artists right now is I've been using YouTube videos of Cyberball gameplay. That's what I've been
Uh,
using because the first step is I want somebody who understands what this game is.
and you won't make a
Um,
2D game. You're not willing to go there.
well, I was gonna before we started this, I actually was gonna start a Discord conversation with you to see if you were interested in being the pixel artist on a 2D Cyberball.
Pixel
So,
artist? Shit, no. I don't do pixel art, bro. I
well,
I
that
I
what you've done plenty of pixel art.
no.
Look at
That
your
I
game.
Yeah, no, but that's not me. I have an artist. You know that.
You do some of that because I always see you.
No, I
Because
clean
on Discord it tells me when you go into that pixel art
A
program.
Sprite. Yeah, no, I clean
Yeah.
up his stuff. So like
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just cutting it up. I
I
don't.
just assumed you did it all.
No, you're crazy. No way. No
Yeah,
way. I
I've
can't
been
do
thinking
pixel art.
about it. If I couldn't find a good 3D artist, or like if we make the Cyberball game and it turns out it would have been better in pixel art, I'm definitely open to doing that. But we run into the same problem. Like we need somebody to do the art.
But I have the cool things I have. I mean, I don't know how big
I
he's very
know you got
busy,
a guy.
but I got a guy who's very
Got a
affordable
guy.
and he's really, really talented. So something to think
Maybe,
about
maybe,
because you never
maybe
know.
that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, we'll talk about this next time in our next video, probably when he gets some more updates and he has more information. And if you guys have anything you guys want us to talk about, let us know. We're just
Yeah,
trying to.
definitely. When I get at least one or two models, we'll do a footage of them driving around and just to see what it looks like and see what people think. You know?
That's gonna be cool. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a. Let me see real quick, just for fun. There's a game. Maybe I can just show very quickly if I can get to it. Now it's so weird. I just lost the. You still there? You're still there, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
there we
still
go.
here. Let me check the stream. Stream looks like it's still working.
Oh, you're there. You guys are there. There's a game that I follow that's it's called Scoot
Now it
Scoot.
went gray
Oh,
on
it
the
did?
stream.
Oh,
Now we're back.
we're back. Okay, cool. There's a if I can there we go. Hold on. I just want to show this real quick. So there's like a maybe it's like this kind of style you're going with. I don't know. Let me share the screen and then we'll be
Yeah.
done. Just one more quick thing
Okay.
if you guys have a sec. Let's see. Share a window. So let's go with this one. Share. Okay, I'm presenting. So this stuff here, check this out. So this is a game that I've followed that because I always would love to make like a cool. Um, can you see that? Okay.
Scoot, scoot. Yeah, you showed me this before.
Yeah. So if you look at the style of this game, this is the style I picture you doing. To be honest, something
It's
like this.
yeah, yeah. So think of this style only without the muted colors, because you can see how there's a post processing effect to mute all the colors to kind of take away some of the
Like
saturation.
desaturated. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Higher saturation, more vibrant colors, brighter. That's what I'm going for. But overall aesthetic, this is very similar.
Right. Because even the grass, like that's not like a 3D blocky model or even like realistic. It looks like a cartoon look. But
In
that's
between, yeah, very, very much cartoon style. That's what I'm going for. Yes.
but those are 3D elements, right? Like this isn't
Yep.
a 2D game or anything.
This is a
So
3D game.
oh
Yeah.
man, if you could do something that's like along the lines of this, even
That's
though
what
it's
I'm
not the
going
same,
for. Yeah.
oh, that would be awesome, bro. Like,
Yeah.
let me buy that thing today. I want that game for real. I think it's gonna be good.
Somebody, Lewis M. I love that style. Looks like Art of Rally or Circuit Superstar. Circuit Superstars is a really good example of the style I'm going for.
Well, there you go.
Circuit Superstars, very bright, very little desaturation. That's pretty close to what I'm envisioning.
If you can get that, it's gonna be beautiful. That game was I follow that game too. I want to make a
Yeah,
game like that,
Circuit
but with
Superstars is
motorcycles. I
awesome.
yeah, I've talked to you about that, I think too.
That
And
game is like the dream I had one day of making a racing game. That game
that
exactly is that dream.
that is the perfect style I would shoot for, bro, because
Yeah,
you're not
that's what
going
I'm
to
going
be
for.
compared to any other football game or any other thing that
Yep.
looks realistic. Perfect. Cool. Well,
Yep. Love it.
let's see how it goes. Hopefully you can make some headway and we could talk
Yeah,
about it in the future. But that's it.
definitely.
We're signing off, guys. We're done. We got to go back to our lives. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Sean, for coming on. Go
Yeah.
check out his channel. The link's in the description below. Maybe he can host one of these sometimes. I know we like to get you guys in here in the chat, and my channel has more subscribers right now, but I want to get his channel going so that he can have more people see the cool stuff he does because he's doing a lot of cool things. So check him
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna try to do more interesting things on my channel once we get the cyberball thing going. So hopefully this meshes with that and we can all be one big community.
Yes. And go Bills. You guys need to win tonight. We want to play
Oh
the
my god.
Bengals at
I'm
home.
gonna watch it this time.
Yeah. Oh, you are? You should
I'm
watch
gonna
it, man. I
try.
watched football all night last night. It's great. There's some good games
Yeah.
out there. They were both and to the end of the wire there. They were
Yeah,
great
I usually
games.
stop watching once college football's over, but this Bills game I'm
Oh, that's
interested
right. You're a
in.
college guy. I like
Yeah.
NFL, man. That's my thing. So I'm all in it all the time. So, all right, cool.
Will your games work with Steam Deck? Real quick. I hope so.
I have no idea. I saw some games work, some games don't, and I'll leave it up to well, the publisher's not really working on Steam because I'm taking that on my own, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I know we're coming to the Switch, so that's going to happen hopefully, and you guys can play it there for sure. But that's it, man. Thanks a
All
lot,
right.
Sean, man. I'll see
See ya.
you. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Have a good week.